don't start. You have to take the bus to the metro.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah?
Mary got 2 goals and assists last night versus LA.
Did they win?
The Americans. Premieres Wednesday, January 30th at 10, only on FX.
Cholesterol-lowering statin drugs can reduce your natural CoQ10 levels, but your heart needs CoQ10. Take Cunol CoQ10. It dissolves completely and absorbs 3 times better than regular CoQ10. Get the better CoQ10. Get Cunol, the gold standard in CoQ10.
This year, make safety your top priority and save hundreds with our best offer yet. Now extended due to popular demand. Get an ADT security system starting at just $49 installed, but only for a limited time. That's an instant savings of $250. Don't leave your family's safety to chance. Call or visit adt.com/TV.
I had a break-in. By the time we called the police, there wasn't much they could do. I felt so helpless.
ADT quickly called the police. I felt like it was over right away.
Feels like it's still not over. We lost our digital photos, financial records, things that insurance simply can't replace.
Help protect yourself with the fast alarm response of ADT with 24/7 monitoring against burglary, fire, and high levels of carbon monoxide, starting at just over $1 a day. And now, our best offer yet has been extended due to popular demand. Installation starting at just $49, a savings of $250. But hurry.
I'm glad we had ADT.
ADT, always there.
For me, traveling isn't about taking a vacation, sitting on a beach, or listening to some cheesy tour guide as we travel in packs from an all-inclusive day spot. Traveling is going to parts unknown. It's sharing a pipe with a shaman as the sun comes up over a 3,000-year-old ruin, and only then realizing you forgot to pack your toothbrush.
Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, coming in April, only on CNN.
So the United States Marine Corps band is now going by the reviewing stand. The president is there with the commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps. We saw earlier the Army Chief of Staff when the Army bands were going by. Now it's the Marines. It's the Marines' turn. So you know what? Let's pay homage. Let's respect the United States Marines. That is a beautiful shot. The U.S. Marine Corps being honored. Now the Chinese American Community Center folk dance troupe from Delaware, the home state of the Vice President of the United States. We're getting a little different cultural, this is a little cultural dancing, but who knew that they were from Delaware, Kate Baldwin? These dancers have performed, by the way, not only here, but at the Kennedy Center, the Smithsonian, the Wilmington Grand Opera House, the Playhouse Theater, National Theater. This is an excellent, excellent folk dance troupe.
And as you look close, you can see these people are working really hard as they're approaching. This is, this is the tail end of their parade as they get to the reviewing stand. So they're really working hard. And
they haven't had a lot of time to practice. I mean, keep in mind, the election ended, then the Presidential Inaugural Commission stepped in, and we don't know who was going to win on election night.
Exactly.
So they had very little time, just over 2 months, to get all of this ready to go.
And then one of Wolf's favorite things, another float has come upon. This is the Delaware State float.
The state float of the Vice President. There he is, the Vice President.
It's a replica. This is a replica of the state capitol bell tower.
Wilmington. Well, the capital is Dover, Delaware, right? The capital of Delaware?
That's correct.
Yeah, I knew that. There they are.
And do you know that these floats, they were making these floats around the clock over the course of 19 days to get them ready for today.
All custom made.
Yeah, incredible.
From Delaware, take a look at this. University of Maryland marching band, College Park, Maryland. The Terps of Maryland playing for the president. John King is watching what's going on as well. John, every one of these bands, every one of these floats, they all have a significance for this president and the vice president.
You've mentioned the home states, the birth states, Delaware, now Maryland. Now we're moving on to the neighborhood, if you might say, Washington, D.C. Wolf. Also, I think part of what we're seeing, you had a band from Ohio as well, is maybe a march for the Electoral College map that President Obama and Vice President Biden just put together in the November election. I'm with Gloria Borger and David Gergen and our chief White House correspondent, Jessica Yellen. We're still on the National Mall. I can tell you, you guys are in for a treat for a while more because they're staging the parade over here. And from our vantage point, we can still see, I can see at least a half dozen marching bands still lined up, and I believe there are a few still around the corner. So fasten your seatbelts, warm the coffee, and let's consider the moment. David, I want to start with you. You've worked and served in 4 White Houses, Democrats and Republicans. This used to be a rare moment, but 4 of our last 5 presidents have enjoyed this moment, a second term. You saw the president up on the Capitol steps saying, wait a second, last time I'm going to see this. You see him here at the parade. He seems to be in a mood, not necessarily known as a deeply introspective guy, but seems to be in the mood to soak this in.
He sure does, and with good reason. This is a day that the president, the vice president, their families are obviously very happy, but they should be very proud. And it's a happy city tonight, John, I must say. I think that's the mood here. You know, they originally were expecting maybe 600,000, 800,000, much smaller than last time. There's one official from the Inaugural Committee has now said he thinks the number was around 1 million. We'll wait and see for a more official prediction. And as dusk falls here, you just have a sense that the president just had a good day. He delivered a speech that's been very well received. He's got a lot of people who are out there on the streets. They've been out there for a long time, and it's tough to get around in this city today. You know, the security's been so tight all day, and yet they've been there, and they're excited, they're enthusiastic. I think it's a very good start to his second term. I think he should feel good about the day.
And if you've had this long day, and you see the president and the vice president here in the booth, we just saw a moment ago. I was here this morning when the sun came up. We were watching the sunset now. It is a stunning day. There's a little chill in the air, but it's much warmer than 4 years ago. It is just a spectacular day. And you heard the president say that when he was walking out of the White House, the reviewing stand. Someone asked him how he doing. He said, what do you think of the weather? And you see that. Look at that picture right there.
Yeah,
Jess, I worked in that building for 8.5 years. You worked there. On nights like this, when you're around that building, it is majestic.
It is glorious, and it doesn't matter how many days you enter there, and it doesn't matter how many hard grinds you have. You get these moments where you just have a breathtaking moment. You think, it's the White House, and this is a beautiful night, and what a moment. And I think that this is the inauguration the president never had. I've talked to some of his staff members who say they were talking to him before today about the fact that 4 years ago, they were all so consumed, and he was talking about this, he was so consumed with the crises that were confronting him and the overwhelming realization that he was about to become commander-in-chief. He didn't get to appreciate the moment that he was really taking office, and it was, and now he's enjoying it.
He's relaxing. He's chewing his Nicorette or whatever it is.
You think he would have done that in the first
no,
after
never,
the first parade?
never.
I don't think so.
It's sort of like he's kicking back and he's just relaxing.
And he's putting his own stamp. I just sort of feel like that, especially with that address today, we have heard the Obama Unbound, the real Obama. This is what he came to Washington to do. He sort of escaped now from the, all the difficulties that he inherited, the economy in a mess, the wars, and now he feels like he's out there on his own. And and it's given a sense. We'll have to see how it goes. Early, but it's very, very early.
I think it was very aggressive, Obama's speech, which we're not used to hearing.
I agree with that.
He's making a bet on the moment. He's making a bet that America is turning a corner. And if we could show, if I could ask our great folks in the control room to show the wide shot again from Wolf and Kate's perspective of the White House, and you see across the river as the sun sets there. I remember standing in that park on 9/11 and watching the smoke. You see the top right of your screen. I remember we were evacuated from the White House on 9/11 and watching the smoke come up from the Pentagon in what would be the top right of your screen there. The president in his speech today talked about the war is over. A decade of war is ending. He is making a bet that America can not retreat from the world, but can have a different engagement with the world. And that both changes foreign policy, but it also potentially frees up resources in domestic policy.
And he could use that as a springboard to say, now that we have the opportunity, we must seize the moment. You know, we have to act. And he's got this whole, you know, and his wife now is getting very involved in the politics of this. She, you know, she's going to be very involved in this new. Oh, that's wow. Look at that picture. Whoa.
I think we should acknowledge that also this is the anniversary of Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King Day, as he did. And he took that moment to pause before the statue in the...
He wrapped himself in the cloak of Martin Luther King today.
Something he hasn't always done in office.
Yeah, and very purposeful.
Yes. But I think that was sort of, and you can see the conceit was Martin Luther King was so courageous that I'm going to state what I really believe here and now.
Right. I think this was Martin Luther King revisited.
Well... I'm not so sure I'd go that far.
I know they don't.
But
inside the White House, they don't.
But I do believe that the moment called for sort of laying out what you stand for in the paying homage to Martin Luther King.
And it's just what the conservatives said he would do. And he was going to be the real progressive.
Look, he's liberated. He doesn't have to face the American people again. He's at least at the moment unafraid to do climate change, which would have been risky in a first term. Unafraid to do gun control would have been risky in a first term. Talks now about doing other things that, you know, again, might have been more harmful to do. The interesting question, though, Jess, is does he stick with them? Does he fight through them? And can he find help?
I just don't know what he's going to prioritize in this next year. And I think he has about a year, 18 months, to find that next legacy move. We know that he will sort of try to drive home health care reform and make that codified, you know, make it...
So, Jess, what's the danger he's going to get caught up in?
Well, we don't...
If
it's a crisis overseas, if there's a crisis, you know, if it's Iran, if it's, you know, the Middle East, it's always something that we don't know. We couldn't have predicted Monica Lewinsky, could we? Or Katrina for Bush. We never know what it is. And so it's the second-term trap.
The president's no doubt mindful of that, but at the moment he's trying to enjoy what is a fabulously colorful parade. Wolf, where are we in the procession right now?
These are representatives of the Alaska Eskimo culture that we're seeing right now go before the President of the United States. They are enjoying what's going on, as are we. Our special coverage of this historic day right here in the Situation Room continues right after this.
I don't know how it happened, but it's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Fire and Water Cleanup Team at 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Like it never even happened.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you stealing our daughter's school supplies and taking them to work?
No, I'm just looking for my stapler and this thing.
I save money by using FedEx Ground and buy my own supplies.
It's a great idea. I'm gonna go do. We got clients in today.
Save on ground shipping at FedEx Office.
Anyone that I talk to about learning a language, I tell them there's just no other way to do it than Rosetta Stone.
Other than being dropped in a foreign country to your own devices, this is it.
I took Spanish in high school, and it was a miserable failure. 20 years later, I saw the Rosetta Stone program.
And it was pretty fun.
It was just really easy. If you can click a mouse, you're pretty set.
No podemos patinar sobre hielo.
Call now for a free demo and experience why Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a language guaranteed. Call now.
By far, Rosetta Stone is the very best product out there to learn.
J'aime quand je rêve en français.